To Kasem. His familiar voice can be heard proclaiming America's top 40, from the tropics to the Alps. Casey has also broken into TV with a syndicated show called America's Top 10. Let's meet this incredible top pop of music. Hi, Casey. You like that, huh?
Top pop of music. I haven't heard that one before.
Oh, boy. Your voice is so familiar to so many people. I have to ask you a question. When you go to the grocery store and you ask for something, do people turn around and say, "Where do I know that from?"
Well, while they don't, they can identify me. It's true. I can be in a restaurant or I can be in a crowd and someone will turn around and they'll say, they recognize the voice. We've been on for 13 years, and for the past, I'd say, 7 years, well over 300 stations, and I just received an award from ABC, who broadcasts our show, and their network, the radio networks, a beautiful Revere Bowl announcing the 500th station that they have now, and we're on about 900 around the world with the American Forces Network.
13 years. People have grown up with you in the American Top 40. What's it like to take a show through that kind of long-term thing? Does it change a lot? Do you change a lot in the course of that time?
I don't think so, and I think that's the key to a successful show. And I think our success was in that the people who originated the show, along with me, were professionals. Tom Rounds, Ron Jacobs, Don Bastani, my co-partner, and the four of us believed in one thing, doing it with quality from the very beginning, technically, and the writing, and to the point where it was almost ridiculous. For instance, when we first started our show, you won't believe this, and people in broadcasting will appreciate this, we did the radio show to real time. Otherwise, we went 20 minutes before, and if I made a mistake in the first 15 minutes, we went back and did it again. And I said, now this has got to be ridiculous. There has to, but that's how important it was that we do it technically correct. And the writing, why, we've had meetings, script meetings that have lasted for hours and hours and hours, just talking about a single word or a paragraph or an entire story that might step on someone's toes, that wasn't quite positive enough, or it might reflect unfavorably on someone. And it makes it difficult for us to do a show that way, but in the long run, when people say they listen, and they listen because the show is credible and they feel that what I'm saying is true, it makes us feel good.
I think that caring really does come through and people identify with it. What is your secret for surviving in a very tough business, in many different aspects of the business, for quite a long period of time?
I think you get out of it what you put into it. I really believe you reap what you sow in just about every area of life. Those days that I was writing a radio comedy show as a disc jockey up in San Francisco, when I thought, this is the dumbest thing I've ever done in my life. How did I ever get roped into this job? And I was there for 2 days, and Chuck Bloor, who's legendary in broadcasting and in the commercial area, was the general program director for Crowell Collier. And 2 days after I was there, he said, well, now you know you're going to write your show. I said, write my show? He said, write
the last
what?
one to know.
I said, I do it all impromptu. I said, I improvise as I go along with the engineer and did little wild tracks and had maybe hundreds of little voices that I used, and I would just tell the engineer while the record was playing what we'd do. He said, no, you can't do that. You write it and hand the engineer a script, a 4-hour script. That's the way we're going to do it.
Wow.
That was invaluable because it taught me that you can write and make it sound like it's unrehearsed.
And what a wonderful talent that is. You've heard so many songs over the years, Casey. What's your favorite kind of music?
You know, that's a tough question. It really is. Of all the questions people ask me, I think that one is the most difficult for me to answer, because I can go back to the 40s and I can think of several songs I like, the 50s, the 60s. I'm really sort of eclectic in my music. I can sit and listen to something very heavy in the classical area and be very moved. I can go watch Itzhak Perlman play the violin at the Hollywood Bowl, and that moment becomes my favorite music. So, or Elvis, or the Beatles, or whomever. I just, I have no, see, I never really wanted to be a disc jockey. I never really liked music.
Well, that's changed
That's
for you.
really true. My first loves were baseball, and baseball. And that's all I wanted to do, morning, noon. I used to play baseball under the street lights. I used to have my brother play baseball with me in the basement in the wintertime in Detroit.
It's too cold to
so
go
you see
out.
how much time I wasted?
Oh my God. We're always concerned about how people stay alive and well on a show that's named Alive and Well. You certainly have found the key to eternal youth. Tell us what that is. Is it working and working so consciously and so...
I believe that
liking
the
your work?
area that I'm in, you know, having to deal with things that are current, having to deal with things on a week-to-week basis, popular music, current events in popular music. But more than that, I would like to think that if I don't look 50 years old and look like a healthy 50-year-old, why, I credit it to diet. I've discovered, particularly last year, that I never want to go on a diet again, and that the word diet is a bad word.
Yes.
Way of eating is the only way. And I discovered with a nutritionist a year ago that there was no need for junk food. There isn't even any need for bread as long as you have your substitutes, you know, your starch substitutes. And you find that bread is almost like eating potato chips. You have one slice, you want another, or a piece of toast. Or if you go to the refrigerator and grab a piece of cheese, it's difficult not to go back and grab another piece of cheese. But if you go to the refrigerator and grab fruit or sliced vegetables, these are the things that you can eat plentifully, and they can only help you and not hurt you. And this past year, I've learned that I feel a lot healthier, I look a lot better, my weight is in the right places, and of course with alcohol I have to be careful there too, and maybe a couple of glasses of wine a day is about the most.
Well, it certainly is working in your life, and it's good for people out there to know that at any time you can change what your lifestyle is, what your eating habits are, and your exercise habits. It's been a joy to meet you.
Thank you.
And I hear you have a special closing for this interview.
Well, it's a closing I came up with about 25 years ago when I realized every disc jockey has to have a finish.
Oh, that's right.
Say,
You need that hook.
keep your feet in the ground and keep reaching for the stars.
Thank you, Kasem.
Thank you.
Mike, back to you.
What a slogan and what a voice.
He's got a great
Oh,
voice.
it's so